got off to a fiery start between the Golden State Warriors and Minnesota Timberwolves last night as Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Jaden McDaniels were ejected for their roles in a fight less than 2 minutes into the game, with Green putting Rudy Gobert in a headlock. Minnesota would win 104-101, but afterwards everyone was talking about the fight.
Had his hands on Klay's neck, and that's why Draymond went after Rudy. And I saw one replay right after it happened. The guys on the back of the bench were telling us that Rudy had Draymond or had Klay, and that's why Draymond went at Rudy. So that's all I know.
After the game, Rudy Gobert told reporters that Draymond Green's choke was, quote, clown behavior. He also said this: every time Steph doesn't play, he doesn't want to play without his guy, Steph. So he does anything he can to get ejected. Ouch. With us right now,
Mr. Steven. This is impressive, Mr. Steven.
How are you, sir? How are you?
This is very impressive.
It's good to see you, Jay Williams. It's good to see you. You, along with Doggy. Jay, let's go to you, because you're sitting in there right now. Your reaction to all of this. Did Draymond Green go too far?
You're damn right he did. I mean, look, Draymond Green's been suspended 2 out of the last 4 games, 2 out of the last 3 games. Got suspended versus Cleveland. That's up for debate, right? Obviously, the reputation precedes him. Rudy Gobert, and I get the history. These guys were chirping last game. Anthony Edwards, Draymond Green going back and forth at each other. Intensity was high around this stuff. But, I mean, this chokeout was worse than Melvin choking out Jody and Baby Boy. That's what it was. It was worse.
Right.
It was held for longer.
Big Rames,
and like,
Tyrese.
And Stephen A, it's the fact, if you do it to get him away from it, fine. But you can't choke him out and then grab him and drag him all the way back. To me, I think that's a minimum 10-game suspension.
What?
10-game
Draymond Green should be suspended for 10 games.
10 games.
That is blasphemy.
It's one thing to say,
ridiculous.
Stephen A, if you're saying get off me, push him, but to put somebody in a chokehold during the in-season tournament, while we all know that the league is trying to create positive publicity to get 3X on their media rights deal. This is a critical moment. This is situations they've dealt with before with Draymond and large. I love Draymond. I would love for any teammate to fight for me in that regard.
Yeah, but 10 games.
What are you going to get, 3 games?
I thought the 2-game suspension would suffice.
To drag him all the way out that far?
It's a scuffle in the whole bit, and you just grab him. You didn't punch him in the face or anything like that. No, it's not a 10-game suspension. Doggy, your reaction.
I think it's in between 2 and 10. How about 5? Can you handle 5? Can you handle 5?
I think that's too much. I think that's
really
excessive. I really do.
You don't think it was excessive to drag him all the way back like that?
I think it might have been a bit excessive, but I don't think it warrants a 3 to 5 games. Certainly not a 10-game suspension. No, I don't believe
Not anything with the reputation.
When is this going to stop, though? When are we going to get to a situation where Steve Kerr doesn't have to try to apologize and explain Draymond Green? What is he doing? They haven't even had a basket in the game yet, and he's grabbing a guy's neck in this situation. And Gobert wasn't doing anything wrong. And what is he doing? Is it necessary for him to go run and grab the guy by the neck and pull him around the court for a few minutes? I mean, really? I mean, we all know.
I thought he held on a little bit too long.
I would think so.
A little bit too long.
I didn't believe that.
I've said this before. You get mad at me, and I'm going to say it again. He makes it very difficult to root for. It's hard to root for Draymond Green. He's always got something going on. It gets tiring.
As a teammate, doggy, I love it. As a teammate, I want somebody.
Not if you're Jordan Poole, but okay.
As long as it's not your own teammate, obviously. But like, that's a legit thing. If you're Adam Silver, how many times do you need to deal with this before you think somebody will understand?
Fair enough. So suspend him. Fine. A couple of games, 3 games max is what I would say this warrants. I don't think it warrants a 10-game suspension. I think that's a bit excessive, number 1. Number 2, let me ask you a question. What level of culpability, and I'm going to throw this out there, what level of culpability do you throw on the Golden State Warriors? Maybe if you had some bigger bodies, maybe if you had some enforcers, maybe if you found an Oakley or somebody else, Draymond Green wouldn't have to play that role, because we're forgetting the role that he has to play. And somebody like you, Mad Dog Russo, you should be ashamed of yourself.
You're not.
As a guy that has covered sports for 40 years, the malice in the palace and everything in between, watching Oakley and Ewing and Anthony Mason when you were doing Mike and the Mad Dog for years in New York City, and knowing the physicality that was once brought to the game. You know the importance of enforcers. I understand what this man knows about basketball, but I'm ashamed of you, because this is consistent with him. He will overreact and say a 10-game. That is
don't try to make that consistent with me.
It is consistent with you. It doesn't a punishment. Oh yeah, you'll come down with a heavy hand, no doubt. But you who loved Oakley, who loved people like that, The Golden State Warriors are devoid of that, so Draymond has to be that to protect his players.
Oh, come on, that's not the reason he did that. You're crazy.
No, I'm saying that's his personality.
He ran
on the
out there
show.
because what? Nate Thurman's not on the Warriors anymore.
No. I mean, they do.
you got to be kidding me.
They do. A lot of people don't know who Nate Thurman was, but he was one of the enforcers. They need some assistance. They need some big bodies. And then
that's not the reason he did this.
It's not about the reason that he did it. And I'm saying in the throes of competition and action.
The game hasn't even
no throws.
It was 2 minutes. It was 2 minutes in. It started 2
There was
minutes.
no throws.
I'm saying
Rudy Gobert didn't throw anything.
I agree with that, and I thought it was excessive, but it doesn't mean he deserves 10 games. He didn't throw a punch. I'm saying he did not throw a punch.
Oh, this is great. This is great.
Yes.
How do you factor in somebody's history of making these type of decisions? Does that factor into your?
It does.
At all? So the history, gives him minimum 2 to 3 games?
Well, we can't count the Jordan Poole thing against him like that, believe it or not, because that was fights happen in practice all the time. Somebody on the Golden State Warriors clearly wanted him gone because they leaked it. That was a private practice. They filmed it. They leaked it, all that stuff. You're the NBA. You can't hold that against Draymond Green.
I don't.
Okay. So what are the other things? He's talking a lot. He's arguing with the officials.
Steven Adams, did we forget about that?
Oh, you talking about when he kicked him in the groin? I thought that was accidental. I thought that was accidental.
You cannot.
Now, what about when LeBron? No, it was accidental. With Steven Adams, he was guilty as charged. But against LeBron James, when LeBron James threw him to the floor and then stepped over him, how is he blamed for that? What are y'all talking about with this history with Draymond Green? He talks a lot. He gets ejected. But in terms of stuff like this, that's not normal. That doesn't happen all the time.
Shouldn't happen at all.
Okay, well, it happened last night, which warrants a 2 to 3 game suspension.
This is somebody, you talk about, I'm consistent with the heavy hand.
That's right.
You are the enforcer of the enforcers, Stephen A.
Me?
I see the way you run the ship. I see the way you toss it to me, you toss it to Doggy. I'm shocked that you would give minimum 2 to 3 game suspension on the
That's the most I would do.
The chokehold dragged out.
And that's why I said 2 to 3 games. Because if he just grabbed him to get him off of Klay Thompson, it'd have been a 1 game suspension for me. But I thought he held on a little bit too long. So if you want to give him 2 to 3 game suspension, I'm good with that. 5 to 10 games, y'all, stop.
And you want to? Is he on your podcast this week? Is that why we're taking a little pass here?
No, I mean I don't need to have him on.
Oh, you're on his?
No, I've been on his and he's been on mine before.
I'm seeing the friendship develop here.
How about the bigger point?
I love Dray.
I know you. I love Dray too. I respect Dray.
How about the bigger point? Forget about the 5, 10, 3. The suspension is going to be what it is.
Right.
When is enough already? Every single game, there's something going on with Draymond Green. How about just playing? Do we have to have an incident every single game where he's got to run in there?
It depends on what you
and whether it's the Cleveland game, whether it's now Gobert getting thrown out because of this, yelling at the officials. I mean, does it come to a point where it gets a little overbearing for the fans?
For you, everything is overbearing. You complain that the guy comes on the court with bad breath and he burped in somebody's face. You want him gone for a month. I mean, with you, anything is possible. And that's why you got that look on your face, because you know I'm telling the truth. That's how you are. I'm going to give you the last word. I need you silent right now. I'm going to give you the last word.
I am going to say this, regardless of whether he gets suspended 2 games or 10 games, or whatever it is, or in the middle. I do like the fact that, like, when I watched Tyrese Maxey and Tyrese Halliburton after the game, and I respect Maxey more than anything. I think he's a beast. I hate when I see after somebody just drops 33-plus points and busts your head open, you smile and out. I like when there's animosity.
So do I.
I like Anthony Edwards and Draymond. I'm like, it gives me something to look forward to.
The difference between you and Doggy, you and I love that.
I like that too.
Doggy considers that an incident. Oh, why is it always Draymond Green? Why is it always him? Anyway.
He has a point.
And he does not have a point.
Yes, I do.
Silence.
Don't silence me.
It's time to go to break. I got to go to break.
I think 5 games is a great median for this. Stephen A.
He's right.
First of all, let me say this. Rudy Gobert, don't grab Klay Thompson, grab your own teammate. That's the code of ethic when a fight going on. You take your teammate and try to remove him. Draymond came in and defended Klay Thompson, right? And he said, you got your hands on my teammate, I'm about to put my hands on you. All good. The problem was, you can't drag the man down the basketball court choking him. Like that, and we all know, like, let's not act like we don't know that you want, as the NBA, for this to look better than it looked. That's going to factor into the decision of the suspension. It just, the optics, Stephen A., is it that egregious in their mind? Probably not. But the optics are, you had the man in the headlock choking him and dragging him down the court.
You just said the optics aren't so bad?
No, the optics are why he's going to get 5 games.
I know this is supposed to be a quick break, but hold on for a second here. I'm captain.
Look how that
I got to get to you.
Look how that quick takes.
Let me tell you, spark this to me. Doggy, I'm quite shocked that this kind of stuff appalls you, considering how old school you are. Some of the stuff that happened in the past, we kind of missed that
Bird and
fervor.
Julius
We got said the
fight.
Bird and Julius. How
Yeah.
about that one?
that.
How about Kareem and Bird? How about McHale, Clothesline, and Rambis?
Oh, I loved it.
I mean, you loved it. How do you get from that to what you are today?